Gennady Golovkin versus Canelo Alvarez 3. In my opinion, now this is just my opinion. This is just me coming up with something based on what's being thrown at us. This isn't confirmed. This is just speculation, guys. Speculations. Based on the fact, everything that's going on in boxing right now. Like I said, this is not confirmed. This is just me coming up with my little opinion, whether you agreed or not. But I'm going to tell you why I believe this may happen. I could be wrong. I could be right. You could come back to this video a couple weeks, months from now and say, hey man, you were right. GGG versus Canelo 3 is about to go down. That's the fight the media wants to push on us. You know, I don't see no point for a third fight. Canelo won the second fight convincingly to the point where there's no point for a rematch. I can understand that the second fight, it was very, very competitive, controversial as well. Then maybe a third fight would be needed. To be honest, as a boxing fan, I'm not hungry for a third fight. That's just me. The reason why is I feel like Gennady Golovkin is too old. This isn't a Gennady Golovkin we used to know. Like the wrecking ball, the guy that knocks everybody out. Well, the people that are placed in front of him, he knocks them out. It's not like he was knocking out elite fighters. Anyway, with that being said, Gennady Golovkin versus Canelo Alvarez 3 is in the making. I'm going to tell you why I believe that. 37-year-old Gennady Golovkin signed that 6-fight deal with the Zone because I believe the Zone probably promised him a Canelo Alvarez fight. You know, the Zone promised Gennady Golovkin a Canelo Alvarez fight. Now we see IBF. They are also working behind the scenes. They just recently script Canelo Alvarez. And as soon as Canelo Alvarez was script, I said, here we go. Canelo Alvarez versus Triple G is about to happen. Well, will happen. Because first thing Canelo said to Triple G, get a belt. He told Triple G to go get a belt. Triple G hasn't gotten a belt yet. But this is his chance to get a belt. And he's about to fight a guy in Sergey Derevyanchenko, who is not an elite fighter. The guy had like 12, 13 fights when he fought Daniel Jacobs. He's a good fighter. He's a solid fighter. But he doesn't have the experience to be in there with guys like these. I felt like when he fought Daniel Jacobs should have knocked out Sergey Derevyanchenko because the guy lacked experience. With only 13 fights, he wasn't necessarily an elite fighter. It's not like he's like an two-time Olympic gold medalist, Vasyl Lomachenko, who was in the amateur for so long. So even with 10, 12 fights, he could fight elite guys. 3 fights, he could fight elite. That's a huge difference. Sergey Derevyanchenko didn't have that extensive background like a Vasyl Lomachenko for him to be fighting the top middleweights already with like 13, 14 fights. He fought Daniel Jacobs with like 12 fights, 12, 13 fights. Daniel Jacobs should have knocked him out. But it showed that Derevyanchenko is durable. Just because he's durable doesn't make him elite. But like I said, once Gennady Golovkin was told to get a belt, I knew something fishy was going to happen because Gennady Golovkin didn't want to fight any of the other champions. He didn't want to fight Daniel Jacobs. He didn't want to fight. Demetrius Andre. He didn't want to fight any of those guys. Gennady Golovkin only signed with the Zone to fight whoever he could fight, and then in his last and final fight, get that Canelo Alvarez fight. You know, that's why Gennady Golovkin signed with the Zone, to get that Canelo Alvarez fight. So when Canelo was stripped of that IBF belt, Gennady Golovkin knew. And then boom, magically, the IBF orders Gennady Golovkin versus Sergey Derevyanchenko. I mean, this stuff is like a script. It's like a movie. It's like everything that's happening is supposed to happen. That's how it's looking like. Everything that's happening, it looks like it's supposed to happen. Canelo said he'll only fight GG with a belt. Canelo gets stripped, and then boom, Gennady Golovkin is fighting for a belt already. He's not fighting a champion. He's fighting a guy who got beat by a guy who GGG was in a very controversial fight against, which is Daniel Jacobs. So I honestly don't like that fight. I haven't seen Derevyanchenko beat a notable guy yet. I believe this is a very easy fight for Gennady Golovkin. Even at age 37, Gennady Golovkin will walk through Sergey Derevyanchenko for as long as it lasts. He's going to slice him up. Derevyanchenko is not a former world champion. He has not beaten any notable names yet. It's an easy fight and an easy payday for Gennady Golovkin for as long as it lasts. I got Gennady Golovkin winning that fight by knockout. Gennady Golovkin, man. Gennady Golovkin, I like his style. He's a fan-friendly style with all the casual fans. When I say that, because the casual fans like to see knockouts. Let's take a look at Gennady Golovkin's resume. Gennady Golovkin has the likes of Steve Rose. Nobody knew who Steve Rose was. Saul Alvarez, but he lost to Saul Alvarez. Finest Martirosyan. He's not a middleweight. He fought Saul Alvarez again. Got that draw. Daniel Jacobs. He won a unanimous decision. That should have been a split decision. That should have never been a unanimous decision. He fought Kell Brook. Kell Brook moved up 2 weight classes. I'm looking for a Gennady Golovkin notable wins. You know, he had a lot of belts. I'm looking for a good win on his resume, except for Daniel Jacobs. He fought the likes of Dominic Wade, David Lemieux. Okay, maybe David Lemieux is a little, but he's not an elite fighter. He's an okay fighter, a B fighter, maybe a C+. He fought Willie Monroe, Marco Antonio Rubio, Daniel Gill, Adamas, Curtis Stevens, Matthew Macklin, Nushaburi, Gabriel Rosado, Gregory Proskal, Makoto Fugami, Luan Simic, Kasim Uma. Okay, guys, there you have it. I can keep going. Gennady Golovkin doesn't have the resume of a Canelo Alvarez. I mean, we go to Canelo Alvarez, we got all Hall of Famers on Canelo Alvarez resume. Gennady Golovkin resume doesn't really come close to that. His resume doesn't come close to that. And he's been at middleweight his entire career. So that's also shocking for him to get the amount of backing that he gets from the fans. I mean, do they not see Gennady? Do fans not have access to BoxRec? Can you guys not go look at the man's resume? Can you not go look at that and tell me who he's fought? Nobody's. Gennady Golovkin has not been anybody worth notable except for Daniel Jacobs. Finest Martirosyan should have never happened. He's not even a middleweight. Kell Brook is not a middleweight. So other than Daniel Jacobs, who has Gennady Golovkin really beat? Other than a C-level fighter and what's his name? C-level fighter that fought Billy Joe Saunders. I even forget his name. David Lemieux. Willie Monroe Jr. Who are these guys? They're not elite fighters. Why is Gennady Golovkin fighting these guys, man? I mean, the middleweight division that used to be stacked has zero big names on Gennady Golovkin's resume. Zero big names. Except for Canelo Alvarez. But the only thing is he lost the fight to Canelo Alvarez. So why should a guy like me be excited when Gennady Golovkin is about to fight a guy with like 12, 13 fights, maybe 14 now, and Sergey Derevyanchenko to get that easy belt, to get the biggest payday of his life again against Canelo Alvarez? How is that fair for the boxing fans? How is that fair for the boxing fans? Gennady Golovkin is about to fight a guy who's 33 years old. 33 years old. You understand what I'm saying? He's 33 years old. He has never been a world champion. And he has no top wins on his resume. None. The guy has zero top name on his resume. The guy has 13 wins and 1 loss. And he's 33 years old. He's never been a champion. He's fought guys like Jack Kuke. The only person on his resume he lost to, Daniel Jacobs. They made it a split decision. It was not a split decision. There you have it, guys. It's in the works. Gennady Golovkin versus Canelo Alvarez. Gennady Golovkin is going to smoke this guy, Sergey Derevyanchenko, who hasn't done anything in his career, and he's already 33 years old. I mean, don't build this fight like it's something huge. Gennady Golovkin is going to smoke Derevyanchenko to get that Canelo Alvarez 3 fight. But I gotta give hats off to Canelo Alvarez. Out of the 2 fighters, he's the only guy really putting in work. So we can't. If you're a boxing fan, you can't be mad at Canelo Alvarez. He's the only guy fighting top competition. He's the only guy fighting top competition. No matter what you want to say, out of the 2, Canelo Alvarez is the only guy fighting top competition. So he deserves A-side status every time. He deserves whatever he gets. Gennady Golovkin has no say, and I repeat, 0 say. And at one time I was a fan of Gennady Golovkin. But I'm not a fan of a guy fighting a guy who's never been a champion. Why can't he have fought Demetrius Andre and finally get a notable win? But leave it up to these boxing fans. I don't know where these guys come from, but they'll support their man no matter what. I think they're just happy